Hey guys, we're starting in about 3 minutes. Let me know if you have questions. Enjoy the screencast. Alright, so it's 10 o'clock Central Time for me to start presenting. I have the Q&A turned on. Let me know if you have questions. Please feel free to ask questions as you're going through it. That's what I'm going to make my head straight. 1 second. Oh, much better. Okay. If you're here, send me a message and let me know that you're here so I can know what's got going on. So if you're here, let me know I'm safe and question. So today we're going to be talking about how to use Google Sketchup in your classroom. And I have a whole entire presentation that goes through everything. But if you think of anything while I'm going through it, please let me know and I'll stop and talk about it, or I can do some more stuff in depth. I talk really quickly. So if there's anything you'd like me to repeat or go back and say again, just let me know. So, okay. I'm new to this whole hangout thing, so let's see how it goes. Okay, so I missed the illustrations. So this is making Tinkering Real using SketchUp in your classroom. And of course, I'm Ashley Steele, and I'm about to tell you a little bit more about myself. So I'm a 4th-year science teacher at Lake Highlands Junior High in Dallas, Texas. I'm a 7th grade lead science teacher, which just means I'm in charge of my 7th grade team. And I'm also a Google Guide for Richardson ISD. So the best part is I get paid to go around and spread the gospel of Google to other teachers and districts and to you guys online. My contact information is down here. If you'd like to contact me, please reach out to me. I love people who join me on Twitter. I love people who email me. I'm currently working on my website, so it's not quite perfect yet, but it's getting better. I'm going to pause for a minute on our overview and make sure I haven't missed anybody and that you guys can actually hear me. Okay, Sharon, can you hear me at all? How is my sound? I can't tell how loud my microphone is. If you guys don't mind letting me know if you can hear me or not. I'll try and fix it if you're not. Can you guys hear me? If you can, do you mind just letting me know in the questions box? I can't tell how loud my microphone is or not. I know that Sharon just mentioned that it was probably not loud enough, so I want to see if that helped. Grrr. I unfortunately don't have a headset with mic. Grrr. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can fix this. Sorry, brand new computer, not used to it yet. Hold on 1 second. Sorry guys, it's taking so long. Trying to get used to this. Oh, 1 second, sorry, y'all. Oh, good. It's a little bit better, not quite as bad. I think we turn my speakers down just a little bit more so it's a little better to hear. So let me know if you can hear me. And I'm gonna wait about 2 more minutes and then I'm gonna try and go on. Yay! All right, I'm gonna go on. Like I said before, 1, I talk fast. Let me know if you need to repeat anything. And 2, I'm not used to using Google Hangouts yet. So if there's anything, I'll check back and forth time to time to make sure everything's going okay. But let me know if you need anything. Okay, so overview. This is the joy of being married to somebody who's in business. They told me that whenever you give a presentation, you have to have an overview so people know what you're talking about. So this is our overview of what I want to talk about today. The good part is I'm going to make the first part smaller and go down to the very, very bottom over here where it says playtime, because that's the most important. Okay, so what is tinkering and why is it important? The whole entire idea of tinkering is that you get to play with learning. Whenever I think of tinkering, I think of my favorite quote from Einstein, which says, "Creativity is contagious, passed on." So why do we need tinkering in schools? Why is it important? Personally, I'm a kinesthetic learner. So tinkering is a hands-on learning to the extreme. It appeals to different modalities of types of learners. They can see it visually, they can touch it, they can hear it, feel what they're doing. It encompasses all different types of learning. Tinkering is so important to schools because all of the major players in education, Vygotsky, Piaget, Froebel, Montessori, they all have the idea that play is essential in developing children. This doesn't stop when children are out of kindergarten and go into high school or junior high. Play helps us develop ways to solve problems that we don't usually get in normal situations. Tinkering is super important in schools because it gives girls specifically and female students access to tinkering and engineering in ways they don't usually. Currently, in the United States, only 18 to 25% of our engineers are female. Additionally, tinkering also reaches out to groups that don't get served in addition to women, like minorities. So currently, according to the National Action Council for Minorities in Engineering, 5 to 6% of engineering workforce in the United States is African American Latino. So that's not much. Last but not least, I love tinkering because it's self-directed education. You get to choose a project and do what you want based on what you're interested in. It goes back to whole brain learning. You get to activate all kinds of different parts of your brain and figure out what's exciting to you and what you enjoy. And it's hardcore project-based learning because you're taking one thing and figuring out what you want to do with it. Another thing that I think is super important about tinkering is that it allows you to have higher in-depth spatial reasoning skills, which is something that girls are lacking in, especially since girls aren't typically encouraged to do engineering things or play in ways that boys are. So I'm going to pause for a moment, make sure I'm not missing anything. And thank you guys for your patience. I appreciate you. Anything else? Am I good? Okay, cool. I don't see any fun errors in anybody saying anything, so we're good. I wish there was like a giant horn when things didn't sound right. Okay, going on. So, tinkering tinkering in schools and tinkering in popular culture really started with the maker movement. And I'm going to do a brief overview if you've never heard of it. If you have, just smile and nod and go along with me. So the maker movement is totally a culture. It is a group of people who decided that they're going to live their lives and they're going to enjoy their lives by making things that mean something to them. So the maker movement was created in 2006 by two guys, Jim Newton and Rich McGee, in California. And they love spending their free time making and inventing, so they decided to create a location where other people who had the same interests could come and actually make stuff. This evolved into makerspaces and maker movements, which I love makerspaces because they're basically shop class for adults. And shout out to the ladies who are at the Dallas Makerspace right now because they're enjoying the living daylights out of it. We have different makerspaces in different cities where you can just go and learn and touch and do things that you never get a chance to do in daily life. I know the Dallas Makerspace has welding classes. There's a blacksmithing class. There's 3D printing. There's all different kinds of cool things that you can do to learn how to make things on your own. This is now bleeding into classrooms and schools. There's a new movement of getting makerspaces in school libraries. So students actually get a chance to have hands-on learning that's related to their learning how to make things. So now my favorite part. There's one thing to add here. Last time I gave this presentation, I called it Google Sketchup. And I didn't know until after I gave the presentation when the SketchUp company tweeted me that they're no longer Google products. So we're just going to call them SketchUp. So if you see anything that says Google SketchUp, just ignore that. So Google SketchUp is awesome. It's a free 3D modeling program that is super easy to use. You're able to create designs with specific measurements that can actually be 3D printed after. I actually have used this program myself to teach 7th and 8th graders, and actually I did teach I taught last year of my school. I taught 7th and 8th grade students how to create their own world with this. I also taught 2 summers ago 2nd grade to 10th grade students how to use SketchUp and create what they wanted it also. It's a really cool learning experience. So, with my notes. So let me show you some examples of how you can use SketchUp. And these are just overviews. I am super, super proud of my uncle, and I have to brag about him for a minute. My uncle Frank is a woodworker for hobby. That's what he does in his free time. He's a retired pharmaceutical rep. He was the one who showed me SketchUp. He uses SketchUp to produce designs of furniture. What you see in this picture is on the left-hand side is his actual diagram, including measurements and wood of what he wanted to make. And then on the right-hand side is his finished project. These are actually all finished products based on Google SketchUp creations. My uncle only designs furniture in Google SketchUp now. So it's cool that you can use it for furniture, but how does this relate to you guys? I mean, we know 3D printing, I mentioned that already, but go ahead, just, no. I wasn't going to go ahead, but we're not going to go ahead yet. So you can use this. I'm going to go into depth in just a minute about how you can use it in your classroom, but I want to show you how I use it in my classroom and how I taught students with it. So last summer, 2 summers ago, I'm sorry, I taught a engineering and robotics and design class for students from, like I said, 2nd grade to 10th grade. We had an assignment for one of the weeks where they had to create a virtual world using Google SketchUp that had met certain requirements. So these 2 things are examples. The top one is kind of a loaded one because it's my example I made to show to my students, but the bottom one is actually a model my students made. I'm going to show you both of them. So let's see if it's still sharing. It's still sharing. Am I good? Am I good? Am I good? Oh, good, it is. Yay! Okay. So this is my presentation I made to show my students to give them an example for what we're going to do. There we go. Yay! Cream Pufflandia. So we had to choose a theme, create a layout of the city, create characters, create villains, have animal companions or accomplices, and then have a backstory. I wish I had more than just the 2 examples I have because my students did the coolest stuff. I had one student make an entire Harry Potter world, and then I had another student make a mystery game that she then later had her uncle who makes board games turn into an actual board game. Super cool. So this is Cream Pufflandia. This is my backstory. Cool. My characters, I think we just went on a paper doll dress-up website and made these. We had creatures. We had transportation. And then we had a layout. This is the cool part of what I use Google Sketchup for. So I actually went into Google Sketchup and created a world from mostly Scratch of what I wanted my characters to live in. So these are just the blown-up versions of what they look like, and I'll show you in a minute how you actually use it. I'm going to show you one more example. This is a student-created work. This is made by Cece and Katie. See if I go full screen. My internet is very, very slow today, guys. I'm sorry. So Cece and Katie are obsessed with zombies, and they were so excited when I told them they could make a video game, or their video game level in their world on whatever they wanted, as long as it was mildly safe. That's always their rule, as long as there's not too much blood and guts. So Cece and Katie made Kill a Zombie. They created characters. They had their creatures, and then they made a layout in Google SketchUp where you could actually walk through it and have things happen. This is only a small portion of it. I keep getting emails from the two of them, and this, like I said, this was 2 years ago. They are still working on this project. They're still adding more to their Google SketchUp of this, and they go back and forth and share their designs. It's really cool to watch. So these are some overviews of how I've used it so far, but that's just for the classes I've been teaching. I'm now going to talk about how you think, how I think we can use it in our classrooms. So I say classroom makerspace, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a makerspace. It can be any kind of way. So you're able in Google SketchUp to create things virtually and physically. You can make nets, shapes. I love it for math because it allows you to actually create manipulatives, that you can actually move through the computer program and do things with. So I'm a science teacher, of course, so I'm obsessed with how I think I can use it in science. I would love to use this to make 3D models of elements for chemistry. You know, actually have balls and have them attached, have different sizes and different shapes, have them be representations of a hard concept. I also would love to see using this with Bohr models. You know, students have a hard time knowing where things go into a Bohr model, which is, you know, circles and a nucleus or a thing in the center where they have to measure electrons and protons. It would be really cool to let them make their own things besides just elements. They could use things besides just round circles. They could do anything they can download. History and English. I'm come from a long line of English teachers, and the thought of using Google SketchUp to create worlds that represent books or things that they're studying just makes me so excited. Last but not least, math. Every year in our school district, and for our 8th grade and 7th grade students, I'm pretty sure, we do a project-based learning unit in math about how to make a playground. The picture in the bottom right-hand corner is actually a design that I found that's actually of a playground in existence that was made first in just Google SketchUp. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm going to actually show you how to use it. Okay, going back and forth. Let's see how this goes. I'm going to answer one quick question. Virginia, no, actually Google SketchUp is completely free. I keep saying Google, ignore me. SketchUp is completely free to use, and it's free to download. There's options to it. You can download Pro, which costs money, but you're able to get it for free. And if you are a Google Apps for Education district or campus, they actually let you have Pro edition. So I'll keep checking back and forth. Okay, now let me show you how to actually use the program. It's me. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. All right, so this is what SketchUp looks like when you actually open it the first time. I hope that you can actually see it pretty well. You have the ability to have tons and tons of tutorials and blogs and plugins and all kinds of cool stuff you can play with. But you also have, I'm trying to go and say, oh, there's also tons of tutorials online that show you how to use Google SketchUp. That's actually how I learned it because it was so much fun. Okay, so you open up the template. My students are going to kick me, but since I'm from the United States, I don't understand metric system, and I know it's custom in science, but so I'm going to show you how to use it in feet and inches. Okay, start using SketchUp. And I think I'm back up again. Hold on one second. Thank you guys for your patience and dealing with my evilness. Let's see if that works. Oh, it won't let me show. Hold on a second. Hopefully you guys can still see my screen. Oh, good. I think you can. on 1 second. When I do this, can you see my screen? You probably see my entire screen, correct? But do you actually see my Google Sketchup? That's the important thing. Okay. I really wish there was some kind of like whistle or bell letting me know that you guys were answering questions or asking things. Okay, so going back up. All right, so here we go. This is Google Sketchup. When you open Google Sketchup, depending on what one you have a person standing in the middle of it every time. My favorite part is this one because this is Mr. Stanley. If you don't know who Stanley is, he is the creator of lots of comic books and he's an awesome guy. I always get rid of them first just to have more space. So I am in an untitled brand new SketchUp mode. I'm going to show you the basics of what I was taught first. So all of these things up here are your tools. This program works. It's not one of those programs that you have to have a separate mouse for. I'm actually using this on my laptop that does not have a separate mouse. I have a trackpad. But you actually have the ability, if you have a physical mouse, to do things a little bit easier. But there are also shortcuts you can use in here that make life easier that you don't need a fancy mouse for. So let's make a house. That's probably the easiest thing to start with. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hit Z to zoom. You see I have that nifty little magnifying glass, excuse me. And I just drag and pull. I have a cool tool. That's the orbiting tool. And I can move and rotate myself. I'm going to zoom out again. Sorry. Okay. Now let's start with just making a simple square, so a rectangle. This button right here, you can choose different shapes. You can do a rectangle, a round, rotated rectangle, a circle with polygon. Right now I'm just going to do a rectangle. I'm going to start down here, click and drag, and I have a flat, awesome rectangle. Cool, huh? Okay. Now let's make it into a house. This button the mouse is over is called the push pull. I'm going to click on it, get this awesome icon here that I know that I'm actually using it. Click down here and pull it up. So now I have a 3D rectangle. Woo-hoo! Okay, so I'm going to turn this sucker into a house. But if I'm going to have a house, I have to have some way for people to get in and out of it. So let's make a door. Get back with my rectangle tool. I'm going to choose a spot on here, anywhere I want. The coolest part is, if you notice, when I'm down here on the left-hand corner and the right-hand corner, I have a green little arrow at the top of my cursor that says it's endpoint. I also have my cursor changed to blue when it's in the midpoint. It helps you figure out exactly what you want. So I'm going to choose a spot over here, click and drag, and voila, I have a door. Okay, I want people to be able to walk into that door. I'm going to take my eraser over here, click on it, and drag over that little line right there into a template. Now I am able to actually go inside the house. See? My house is actually 3D. Woohoo! Okay, well that's nice and all, but let's have some windows. So let's put some windows in. We'll go back up to our tools, to our shapes, and circles. I'm going to move them. I'll show you guys how you use the move tool. So I don't like where that window is. I can erase it with the eraser tool, or I can just move it with my move tool. This tool right here that has the 4 arrows that you move. You click on it, and your shape. There I go. Now I can actually move that circle. Okay. I want to be able to see through that circle. So I'm going to take my eraser, drag the inside, and it works. Oh, no, break a line, and let go. Ah, no! Hold on a second. It didn't like me. Drag my circle. I'm going to keep it there. I want to get rid of it. I have to delete. Oh, no, hold on a second. Sorry, guys. It's been a while. I have to go back up to select, hit the button, wait until it turns those cute little polka dots, and hit delete. Now I have a circle. Sorry, I forget many times. The coolest thing about Google Sketchup, though, is that if you learned it like I learned it from just hands-on, the more you play with it, the easier it gets. It seems kind of overwhelming at first, and I had students, my very first day I taught them this, every 5 minutes would be, I don't get this, help me, I give up. But after 2 or 3 students got it, they would always rotate around and show each other what to do. So it was really cool to watch them share what they were learning with each other. So I've got a window, I've got a door. Let's rotate and put some more windows in. This we can actually see our cute little house. I keep choosing the wrong spot. Let's do this right. So, better. Go back up here to select. select my circle, filter in polka dots, and delete. Okay, let's throw another circle on the other. Okay, let's do a rectangle. So why not? Go back up here, select a rectangle. Rectangle right here. Let's say I really like this, and I think, ooh, that's a really cool size. I can go back up to my select, make it polka dotted, copy it. So I can go up to edit, copy, and then I can paste and have the exact same one in different spots. Okay, so I'm also, if you are comfortable with using keyboard shortcuts, I always do Control-C copy and then Control-V to paste. So I've got another one. Okay. Select it again, so I put that. And, oh. One always gets me. So select inside, put that, delete. Inside, put that, delete. Okay, so I now have 3 walls with nifty cool windows, and I'm selecting window the other one. You can see I can actually go under, on top of, inside. My house doesn't have a roof. I just realized that. That's not cool. So let's give ourselves a roof. So I'm going to zoom out, my magnifying glass, drag and pull out. Okay, so I want to just make a super simple roof. I'm going to take my push-pull tool, select my top of my house, pull it up again, and let's put that where I want it. So I'm going to take this added bonus, or this added part of the house, and turn it into the roof. So I'm going to go over here and draw a line. This is my line tool with a lower cute pencil. Find the midpoint of my roof. Click and drag down here. Okay, that's one side. Go back up here, my end point. You notice how when I get to the right line, it shows you the dotted line of where they match. I'm going to go perfect. That's good. So I've now got 2 lines of where I want my roof to be. Go back to my push pull. And sorry guys, this is one of those things where you realizing in the wrong angle, you can't see things. I rotate back up so I can see a little better. Sorry. Zoom out. And push pull again. There we go. That's much better. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and pull it back. And now I have a roof. Let me rotate so you guys can see it. Ta-da! Okay, so super simple basic house. I want to make it pretty. So I'm going to go up here in my paint, click on my paint, and I can click on different materials or colors or whatever I'd like. I'm going to make this, let's see. Ooh, geometric tiles. That's cool. I'm going to make my house this kind of cool basket weave. I find the tile or what I like. I click on house, and it's now a basket weave. I can hit the O for orbit tool, rotate, and hit each side. So now I have a painted side. I can go back up here and choose roofing if I want to. I would say gray, because gray is pretty. I can paint our roof. The other side. And now we have a pretty painted house. Woohoo! Okay, so this is all super cool, but it's kind of it's simple. Let's see if we can add some things. So you have the ability when you're using this program to add anything you'd like, or almost anything you'd like, from the 3D model warehouse. So let me show you what it looks like. This little box right here, this open box, is the 3D model warehouse. You can put anything you'd like into it. Let's see what I want. I'm going to add a unicorn. Type in unicorn. I hit search. Okay, so let's look and see what we want. Ooh, those are cool. And you can tell this is made by a ton of different people because you have all kinds of different things. You have video games, you have complete cities, you have all kinds of different things for each one. So let's use that. Okay, so I double click on it. It shows me this awesome option. It says, what size it is, who made it. Okay, that's awesome. How many times it's been downloaded, and then it lets you download it and embed it into your program. You can also look at it and switch it and move it and see if it works. Yay! You can look at 3D and see what it looks like before you download it. So then it adds it into it. Let's see how huge it is. Sometimes the weird problem with this is that the actual things you add into it are huge, and so it looks really strange. So let's see. You can tell my internet's super slow today. All right, there is my awesome unicorn. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out with my zoom again. Put my zoom magnifying glass. Zoom out. I'm going to orbit so I get to see that unicorn better. And if you notice, my unicorn's kind of floating in space. It's not quite on this axis. So I'm going to do the move tool, which is the 4 arrows. Click on her and bring it down. Okay, so I have now made a house, a basic simple house. I've now added stuff in 3D warehouse into it. Also, I don't know if you can see down the right-hand corner of my screen, it says the link. One of the main reasons why my uncle got me into SketchUp was because I wanted to create an awesome table for my living room. We actually built it, the actual table, piece by piece, so board by board, in SketchUp first before we made it, so we could know what we needed for materials and how much it would cost, and just, you know, to make it easier for me because I'd never built anything before. So if you notice, it's telling us down here in this corner that this is a measurement of our unicorn in feet and inches. Let's see what else do we need to show you that's important. Some of these things you don't ever really deal with. Measure tape tool actually lets you measure the distances between 2 points or how big a model is. You can add text in it and have, like, if you remember looking at my cream puff landing example, I had the cream puff landing above it. That was done with the text tool. I love the pan. And you can just kind of grab the hand and move. So I can move however I want to do that. You have the ability to add a location in your map. So a lot of times people will make full-scale models of cities, and I've seen people do it for historical cities, and they'll actually geolocate the actual design of what they've made and have it go into an actual Google map. Let's see. Another really kind of cool thing, there's all kinds of really cool hidden things in these subcategories. You have the ability to, if you can find it, add shadows and fog. Let's add shadows. It works. You notice back here, rotate a little bit. There's shadows in my thing. So my house actually has shadows. You have the ability to go through and actually choose what kind of shadows you want. This is one of those things where the more you play with it, the easier it gets. So I can turn off my shadows. I can do fog, which I've never tried before. Ooh, that's kind of cool. You also have the ability to animate. It's a lot like other animation programs, like I don't know if you guys have used Pivot. Pivot's a stick figure animation program. I use it with my students quite frequently. You can do it, but it's scene by scene by scene. So it takes a lot of time, but it's super cool to actually animate in Google Sketchup. You have the ability to use different camera angles. You can change how you're looking at it. You can actually walk around it and look around. Walking never really works for me. So I'm actually walking it. It's more fun when you have more things in your design and it's more involved. What else? All these things are really cool. Sorry. They show you the shortcuts you need for the computer to use these if you don't have a fancy mouse. So I can actually go through and just hit Z for zoom, or S for scale, or P for push pull. That was pretty cool. So you also have the ability to put all this information in here. You can actually label stuff and name it. And when you're done with the design you like, let's say you've made geometric modeling for nets and geometry. So you know how, like, you take a shape and you pull it apart and look at it in geometry. When you do it in Google SketchUp, if you really think it's cool, you can upload it to the 3D model, and then they can actually, other people in the world can use it. I had a student 2 years ago who was obsessed with SketchUp. He actually taught me a lot of stuff I know now, but he would make models of the space station, other things that he just found were so interesting, in Google SketchUp with correct measurements, and then upload them so other people would share them. So it was super cool to see because he was so passionate about it, something that was related to what he was studying in school. So this is the basics of Google SketchUp. There are so many more things you can do, but that would take a lot more time for me to show you. And there's tons of really good resources I'm going to show you at the end of this presentation that you can use. And you can always email me, send me a tweet. I will help you with anything because I love this product. I promise I'm not getting paid. Okay, back to the presentation. I'm almost done with all stuff. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. I want to know how, if you're a teacher, if you're a classroom teacher, or if you interact with students anyway, what is one way you think you'd use this this product or this software in your classroom. So I'm going to hold this for a second. Let me see if I can put it with me. All right, so sorry, I'm doing the whole giant thing again. Sorry. I'm going to unshare my screen. Thank you guys for being so patient with me. And that's me again. Okay, there we go. Yay! So the question I'm asking is, how would you use this in your classroom or with the people you're and the students you interact with? So let me know. I mean, my questions are kind of loading slowly, so I'm kind of responding to things quite slowly. I'm going to go back at the end and answer any more questions you might have, or turn on the chat so we can talk about things in real time, because this whole question thing is crazy. I want to know how you think you might be able to use this when you interact with students. And if you're just coming in, sorry you missed some fun stuff, but don't worry, you can always go back and rewatch it. And if you ever have any questions or need help at the end of this presentation, I'll share a link with you to connect with me. And I'm always willing to answer questions, and even if you'd like to do a hangout and go through it, I'd love to help you. Oh, sweet. Okay, so I'm really excited to see Lisa. Lisa said that she's done SketchUps in concert with a Spanish teacher doing their dream houses and then touring them in Spanish. That's so awesome. I would love to see these designs. That would be really cool. Anybody else have any way to use it? If you've already answered and I'm just doing it slowly, I apologize. It's really weird and slow on my end. Okay, so I'm going to go to the last little bits of my presentation and then come back and answer the rest of your questions, and then turn on the chat so we can actually talk, because this whole question and answer thing is crazy. So if you would like more info, these two links and the QR code. The first one is all links that help you. There are tutorials and things that I personally find interesting and helpful when I use SketchUp. There's a ton of things on there, and I add more things daily. The last link is a link to this actual presentation, and all of the examples I have in here are linked to it also, so you can still look at them, and I can send you more if you'd like more. So come back to this page if you need to and ask more questions. So I'm back to answer some questions. Please think of anything you want to ask me. I'll go back through and answer them again. If you would like to connect, I love building my network and my friends. So please add me on Twitter or drop me an email. All the stuff that my connections are all in that link right there. Okay. Going back to the screen, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna do a whole weird face thing. I don't like seeing myself, so. But I did, brush my hair today, so you guys should feel special. All right. Going back to my actual hangout. Okay. I know it's early. I'm gonna start going through some questions. After I answer the questions, if you'd like to go to talk more, I'll turn on the chat and we can actually talk about stuff. If not, you can always come back and watch it later. I'm not offended. Okay, so Melissa asked, will design provide measurements so that students can find volume and perimeter? Yes. When you use the measuring tape tool, you are actually able to go from one point to another point and figure out the distance between the two. And then you can do your 3 dimensions. You can do length, width, height. It won't keep right there. Like it doesn't save in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. You'd have to write them down when you're doing it. But you can actually go through and measure actual things with it. So that measuring tape tool is awesome for measuring diameter, the dimensions you need for, my brain's going blank. The dimensions you need for volume, all that awesome stuff. So thank you, Melissa. Jody said, she said, it doesn't look like SketchUp exists for iPads. Is there an equivalent app, or is there anything that iPad users could do to download the same type of things? So there is no SketchUp for iPad, unfortunately, and there is not for tablets or for Chromebooks, which stinks because I have a couple Chromebooks in the classroom and I have Android tablets. I have found another service online that's free, and it's a website. It's called Tinkercad. Sorry, my brain's went blank. Tinkercad is almost the same thing as Google Sketchup, but less options. There are also some more advanced 3D modeling programs that you can do on computers, but not on tablets. So Tinkercad is awesome, free, it's super easy to use. I actually had a 6-year-old teach me how to use it. Another option you can have if you don't have the ability to use it. Oh, hey, look at people. I didn't know it. Cool. Look at that one. Another option if you have access to computers and not iPads is there's a free app called 123D, and it lets you create 3D modeled objects that are printable in 3D printing. And from what I've heard from people who have experience with 3D printing, they say that one's just a little more stable and it's easier to actually print without holes. Sometimes when you print from sometimes when you print from SketchUp, you have holes in your vectors, and when you print it in 3D, it doesn't always match up. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see questions, but I just want to say thank you so much, Lisa, for adding that. So Lisa said that you can add, there's iPad apps that like Mophie, and they're not quite as the same as SketchUp, which I agree with her, but they're good for, she's right, they're good for using on 3D printers, but they're not quite as involved. So it's cool, but not as deep as Google Sketchup is. Let's see, going down here, look at more stuff. Sweet. Robert said he could see this being used in social studies classrooms to create models of time periods. I would love to see an example of this. Sorry, I just did my camera. I would love to see people sharing their product of this. I want to create a SketchUp community just for educators so we can share examples and share ideas. So if you guys want to get in on that, please send me an email at the end of this. What else we got? Cool. I would love, Melissa, I would love to use this if I was a science or a math teacher to actually do volume, perimeter. I would love to do the nets of shapes, because that was one of the things I struggled so hard with when I was in geometry myself. I would love to be able to have my students do it and be able to move it and touch it as I. So that's super exciting. Okay. Anything else? Okay, so I'm currently at the end of my questions. I talked fast. I'm gonna turn on the chat. Can you guys see the chat? Okay, I am done presenting. I'm here to hang out and talk to you. You like want to talk and ask me questions, or having ideas, or anything you'd like to talk about. I know I've done a lot of talking and I hate talking. So I've turned on the chat. I'm gonna keep recording and plug and turn off my camera, but I'm gonna keep at it for a couple more minutes if you guys would like to talk about anything. So let me know if you can see the chat. And it was very nice for you guys to join in. Thank you very much for joining me, and I appreciate it. Have a great night, y'all. I'm coming back for just 1 moment. So guys, I just realized that Robert asked a question. I didn't get a chance to answer it. Robert asked if there are, Robert asked him, if you're still on the chat, Robert, if you are, I hope I'm answering your question. What are some hardware challenges to using SketchUp? He imagines it'd be pretty hefty requirements. Actually, no. I'm able to use SketchUp on my totally crappy netbooks I have at school. SketchUp only needs a small amount of space for memory. It needs an okay processing card and a video card, but I can run SketchUp on the oldest of old laptops. It actually takes up very little space, and it's pretty compact. So in addition to being free and sort of easy to use, It is actually pretty easy. It's pretty, doesn't take up much space. Okay. Anything else? I don't know if you guys can see my chat or not. For real. And once again, thank you guys. I appreciate it.